morning. Good morning. So, okay lang bang walang microphone?
Okay.
The room is cozy enough for everyone. So, welcome to the GDG-GBG Philippine Transit App Challenge Bootcamp. But at least in Manila. So, this event is happening nationwide. So, for today, we're doing this in Manila, in CDO, tapos Cebu, and Bacolod. The next coming weeks, we'll be having an event in Pangasinan, Baguio, Zamboanga, Davao, and in Iloilo, and other cities nationwide. So this event is made possible by Google Developers, Google Developers Group, and Google Business Group. So these are communities. Sino unang community event to? Yes, okay, welcome. So unang community event, unang GDG event din. Yeah, so yun, maraming first-timers sa Google Developers Group. So, bakit kayo nandito? Dahil sa challenge? Yes. Yes, so to learn more about the challenge. Okay, so welcome. So, thank you Orange and Bronze for hosting us today.
You're welcome.
So, yan. So, Karen Legaspi is the CEO of Orange and Bronze. So, he joined us today. Thank you for hosting us in such a short notice. So, yan. So, Google Developers Group is a community. We're a bunch of volunteers who's passionate about technology, particularly Google technology. So, yung group is supported by Google, syempre. Kasi we can't use any branding without their support. Okay, so before there's GDG, Google Technology User Group. Just last year, they divided it into two. Now there's the Developers Group and the Business Group. So, yung business group sa Philippines, 17 chapters. Ganun sila kabilis lumaki. Kaming developers group, were 8 chapters. Last year, 6. Nadagdagan ng 2 this year. So, yun. So, Kuya Juned is handling Google Business Group Quezon City. Kaming Jomar handling Google Developers Group Philippines. Well, yung branding yung Philippines kasi noon isa lang. Kaya Philippines. Pero ngayon, we have a branch or we have a chapter in Cebu, Bacolod, Cagayan de Oro, Davao, Zamboanga, Mountain Province sa Halesima, Sagada, Bontoc area, Baguio, and I forgot a chapter. Who did I forget? Oh, tayo, Philippines. Hindi. Cebu, wala na Singapore. So yeah, it's over everywhere. So if you have friends in the provinces, they don't need to fly into Manila every time. Because we usually, yung events namin nationwide half the time. Kasi pag ginawa sa Manila, gusto nila gawin din sa kanya-kanyang city nila. So yun. So any questions about GDG? Last night, we had an event focusing on the new Google Maps. We were in Smart Job Center in Mega Mall. Next event will be end of the month. We'll be focusing on how to monetize your app, how to promote your apps effectively. So yun. And then on September, we're gonna have our biggest event, annual biggest event. We're gonna have the GDG Dev Fest. So yearly on, last year we had it in August. This year we'll be having it in September. So yun, visit nyo lang yung sites and mga social network. We're everywhere. Online din. So yun. So syempre, Google GDG, Google Developers Group, nasa Google Plus, active kami sa Google Plus. So add us in your circle. That's the right term, di ba? Kasi I always make a mistake na follow us in your circle. Mali, iba yun. So yun, so add us in your circle. So for this bootcamp, any questions about GDG muna? Any questions? Are we comfortable? Yan. So to start the bootcamp, you're very lucky kasi I don't think other participants have a chance kasi we're gonna have someone from DOTC to discuss, well, kung ano yung challenge, kung ano yung data. And you, exclusive group kayo, you could ask her questions about the challenge itself, about the data. What apps are they particularly looking at? So yun, so privileged group. And yun, you could ask her questions live. Yung iba kailangan mag-forum, kailangan magantay ng sagot. So ngayon live sa inyo. So now, I call on Miss Patricia Mariano from DOTC.
Morning. Thank you, Celine, and thank you, Mariano, for inviting
competition. So, okay, I'm here from the DOTC to talk about the database, the Philippine Transit Information Service. So this is one of the 3 data sets that we're sharing during the competition, the Philippine Transit App Challenge. Yeah, so DOTC is sharing, DOTC along with LTFRB, LTO, PNR, LRTA, MRT3, and MMDA, we're sharing the GDG-GBG database with I'll explain that more later. And we're also sharing for this competition pilot data sets from MMDA and Cebu City on like real-time traffic incident reporting. Okay, so John Palma, he's my colleague at DOTC. You were the guys managing the database and the It's okay. So, thing is, we came up with this database because as we know, our public transit information in the Philippines sobrang kulang. We don't have clear information on routes, trip schedules, travel time, transfer points, and fares. So what we really wanted was a clear database for everyone to share para wala nang lokohan, para hindi ka nang nililigaw, para hindi sa explorers. And so in 2011, the DOTC approached World Bank about this and they were very helpful. They agreed to do a grant with the help of OSCAID. So we all came up with this database, which was determined by a bunch of consultants and UP students who had GPS devices and who would like literally get on a jeep and a bus and like track saan ba ito dumadaan. So, parang half a year na itong ginagawa. And we're not saying na ito na yung kompletong database. There might have been some that they missed and baka hindi rin masyadong accurate. Like, let's say they chose to ride a jeep that flies this route dapat, tapos that day biglang umiba siya ng route. But that's something we hope to improve over time since this is consistent development naman. Next, please. Ayan, so currently, yung info na to on all this transit information, parang tatanungin mo lang, how do I get here, how do I get there? And I know na may mga apps na like commute.ph or what's that other one? There are several apps, there are several websites that use crowdsourcing or like really just what people know to come up with directions. But again, that's not like the set one, and plus there's going to be a fair, and it's not really coordinated with the guys who regulate the fair. So we need an accurate public utility vehicle service information system. So that's the PTIS. And the goal of that is to make accessible to the public the correct information with really just the end goal of making transit in the Philippines more convenient. Because like, I'm sure if you've visited other places, hindi naman hirap mag-commute. Like, even if you go to say Hong Kong and you don't understand Chinese at all, hindi ka maliligaw. Maliligaw ka ng konti, but clear naman yung markings nung this is where the station goes. They have maps, they have a lot of information everywhere. We don't have any of those that I'm aware of. So this is an attempt to build towards that. Also, on our side naman, we hope that this database will help us see saan may service gap, what areas are we servicing and what areas do we need to service. And we hope that some of the apps that can be developed from this challenge will help us address those concerns. Again, the objective of this was to create a publicly accessible open database. So we didn't want to charge anyone for this. So we're just like, okay, this is really government information, public information. So right now, if you try downloading the data from the site, you have to register first as a participant, and then you have to read terms and conditions before you can get it. we're working on publishing this on our own website para you don't have to register. Kasi kahit naman hindi ka mag-register, you can still use it if you just want to develop it. If you just want to develop your app, but you don't want to join the competition, that's okay. You really just want to spread word that we have this and we'd like people to be able to use it. So yeah, we aim to use this data in various platforms. So no preference to it's iOS, Android, or like if it's web-based, smartphone. But we do recognize, and we'll show that with our awards later, na most creators won't really have access to smartphone or the internet. So may incentives if you make it for SMS or whatever innovative way you can come up with. So, as I've mentioned, the data was collected using GPS, and I don't think we were expecting 900 routes. So that kami with that, and I think that's a sign that there might actually really be more than 900. So on our end then, we're going to try to add to it, to update it regularly, like at least once a month moving forward. And there. So the contents of the database. The database it's stored in a GTFS format, the General Transit Specification Feed. Like, disclaimer, I'm not techie at all. I don't know how to develop apps. I vaguely know what the GTFS is to the extent that I know that it's open. It's what Google Maps uses to further maps. So it's that file that that specification that they understand. But like the extent of how you can use it or how you can best utilize the data, I'm not sure. So yeah, it's on the website naman. You can just study it.
Yeah, you have to get basically CSV files.
Yeah.
For that. So
No, yeah. So you get CSV files. But
yeah.
that
So
means.
government people, they input data in that database. Then what happens is the GTFS releases it as a CSV file. So basically, if you're doing the apps, that's the data you'll be working on. So it won't that.
Yeah, so it's good now. So it's open. It's a standard format na used by hundreds of cities worldwide. But it has limitations. Right now, it can only take static information. Kaya ang file lang namin is jeepney, bus, and rail. Wala, hindi namin kaya i-plot yung mga FX, hindi namin kaya i-plot yung taxis, of course, or tricycles. So, and we also only know like routes, like literally where do they pass, where do they stop, and how often, which as we know in the Philippines, where they stop and how often they stop is not really set. So, right now, the guys who gather the data, they just assume some things like I think every few hundred meters they should stop. Tapos we just set a time na let's say it took us this long to travel this, that's our travel time. But that's based on traffic. So really tentative pa siya. Work in progress. And for fares naman, for rail, madali yung fares. MRT, LRT, they have set fares. But for jeepneys and buses, our fares are distance-based. So if you've seen the site, you might notice that we provided the fare matrix separately. So apparently, the GTFS format cannot accommodate distance-based fares. So, well, I don't know, but I would expect there's a way naman to use the map and then separately like integrate the fare meters into that. Next, please. Okay, so that's the data we have. Here are some sample uses. This is a screenshot of a demo site that our consultant came up with. So I think this is shared naman din sa website. It's open trip planner. So what they did lang was they inputted the graph database. If you guys want to see it, I think you can look at it. But this is just a screenshot. You want to see it? Or do you guys understand naman? It's basically point A, point B, how do I get there, how long will it take, what are my options? The next one naman is something, it's something I'm personally more interested in. Kasi nung nakita ko ito, parang first time ko siya nakita, and then ang amazing niya. What it says is, if I'm at this point, you set stuff like time lenience, how fast you walk or whatever. If I'm at this point, if this smaller circle, it will take me like 10 minutes to get here. 20 minutes will take me around this area. 30 minutes will allow me to reach this area, and so on and so forth. So what's interesting is you can see certain areas like this place, parang ang lapit niya, but dahil walang public transit, walang lakaran, I don't know, you can't really reach it within 30 minutes, and you can actually go into Makati farther than you can get into Mandaluyong. So apps like this would help the government see where do we need to improve our services, what's wrong, why can't we reach those areas. Nice, so that's the database, more on the challenge. Since the database is really just a database na parang yun, you can download the CSV, and then the most that I've seen it is I can open the CSV next that and mababasa ko sa lahat. But again, as a commuter, that's of no use to me. So we hope to encourage people to develop apps so that the public can really use the data. So that will ensure that more people will benefit